And joining us on our Book Talk 7, great to welcome a man who's written a very helpful book, very interesting book as well, as we come up on Earth Day, coming up on April 22nd. It's called The WasteFree World, How the Circular Economy Will Take Less, Make More, and Save the Planet. Ron Gonen, he joins us. He's the author of the book. He's also the founder, CEO of Closed Loop Partners. It's an investment firm and specializing in the circular economy. We'll find out about that as well. And he joined us by telephone today. And Ron, how are you? Good to talk to you.
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing?
Great. You're up in New York, right?
In New York City.
Yeah, I grew up just outside of there, so always good to talk to somebody in New York. You had a very interesting job. I should have said that in the intro. You were the Commissioner of Sanitation, Recycling, and Sustainability in New York. That's not an easy job. I grew up there.
It was a great opportunity to participate and be a member in the Bloomberg administration, and there were definitely a lot of challenges, but we got a lot done, and it was great to have a positive impact on the city I live in.
Especially the sanitation part. Very, very difficult to keep that city clean, but yeah, they did a good job. So, because I grew up there in the 70s, I used to go in the city, and it was a total different thing, and it got a lot better as we went along. I left there in about 88, but it had gotten a lot better, and I'm sure you made it good as well. But let's talk a little bit about the book. As we said, Earth Day coming up, people kind of focus a little bit, hopefully more on ecology and keeping the world hopefully in a clean way. But the waste-free world, the circular economy, I guess we should start there. Just kind of give a brief outline of what that means.
Sure. So the circular economy is an economic system where you utilize advanced product design, manufacturing, and recycling to eliminate the reliance on natural resource extraction for landfills and landfill for disposal. And you instead focus on continually reusing and recycling materials within the system, which will reduce costs for consumers and taxpayers.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know when these started. I know down here in Florida we have these recycling bins at the homes and, of course, the apartment houses as well. I always put my, plastic and paper goods in that. I hope they're being used properly. Has that really cut down a lot or at least, cut down on the waste a lot the last 20 years of doing that?
Absolutely. The U.S. has a very robust recycling infrastructure that creates hundreds of thousands of jobs, and along with protecting our natural resources, and this is something that's really important for your listeners, it reduces the tax burden involved with disposing of waste in landfills.
Yeah, I always used to hate, before we did this, officially, that, you're throwing away bottles, cans. I guess there used to be deposit bottles. I don't know if they still do that or not. You get a nickel back. I guess that was in New York. I don't know if other cities had that, but that was really the only kind of recycling people kind of thought of then, or at least on the most part. But, well, that's good to hear then. So a lot of this stuff is being reused. Yeah. I mean, it is being done. Okay, good.
Absolutely. Where are you in Florida?
I'm in Sarasota, a little bit south of Tampa Bay.
So my firm owns the recycling company in Sarasota.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Would have it. The company in Sarasota is called SSR. And interestingly for you in Sarasota, SSR is probably the most advanced recycling facility in the United States. It's the first recycling facility that was built using robotics and artificial intelligence. So if you're living in Sarasota, I can guarantee you that everything that you're recycling is getting recycled, and you're fortunate to be in a place where you've got a very advanced recycling facility.
Well, that's good to know. I'll have to look that up. I didn't realize that you had a connection direct to Sarasota. That's great. Well, how about on the in the industrial world? Obviously, I guess we've had a little bit of a situation. I'm sure you've heard about, Ron, with in Manatee County, a phosphate plant is having some difficulties at kind of unloading a lot of their waste into the water. Is that getting any better? Or I know that's kind of a isolated incident, but is it getting any better in the industrial world?
It's not that much of an isolated incident when you think about all the spills and environmental damage caused by companies. It may not always be, phosphate, or in other places in Florida, algae issues. In some parts of the country, it's some other issue. But there's issues happening constantly. And this is something that's really important about the circular economy is it promotes the expectation that companies be responsible for managing their own waste. And unfortunately, in the United States, for too long, we've allowed certain industries to discard and dispose of their waste with the expectation that the public would pay for it or subsidize it. And if we transition to a circular system and a more transparent system where we say to those industries, hey, it's a free market. We all believe in capitalism, but that means you got to be responsible for the cost of managing your own waste. It's hard to expect to live in a capitalist system when companies say, I got a healthy P&L because I can push off the cost of managing my waste to the public.
Yeah. It's definitely been a balancing act over the years, but people are more aware of it now. Obviously, when things go like this, really a mess, people really become aware of it when you have to evacuate people. So it's an important thing.
Yeah, it's actually a great way to align people across the political spectrum, right? Because you can have debates on climate change or sustainability or the environment, and people can have different political opinions across the spectrum. But when you have something like what you guys have, that aligns everybody's interest in, we got to get this fixed and make sure it never happens again, because in the worst case scenario, people can die.
Right.
And in the best case scenario, you've had to evacuate your home and all of your property for a couple of weeks.
I know we just have limited time, Ron, but I read the book and I really enjoyed it. You have a lot of interesting and good ideas in it. And I guess one of the points of writing it was to kind of show the innovations, right, that are being done today to not only make it cleaner world, but also the economy is going to be benefited from it, and we'll all benefit that way, right?
Absolutely. One of the innovations we're most excited about is a company called Home Biogas, which develops household-sized anaerobic digesters. Anaerobic digesters convert food waste into gas. And so you can put a home biogas system in your backyard, put all of your food waste in it, and it'll convert it to gas that can pump into your barbecue or your kitchen stove or into your hot water heater. So our controller and at my firm, Closed Loop Partners, he's got a home biogas system in his backyard in Westchester, and told his kids, all your food waste goes into the home biogas system now, and the gas gets pumped into his barbecue, and he hasn't bought a propane tank in 2 years. So that's an example of some great innovation that's in the market.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of these things you talk about in the books, I guess some are available. Will it be mass-produced, I guess, in a sense, where there are always people that try these things and they're not kind of done, across the board. Will this be something like next 10 years? I guess all of us can at least have the opportunity to either purchase or, put in our homes.
Absolutely. And back to the fact that you're in Sarasota, if you go to Home Biogas's website, homebiogas.com, and scroll down, you'll actually see a video of a family in Sarasota that's got a home biogas system that they're pumping the gas from the home biogas system into their very high-end Wolf kitchen system. So the home biogas system, all the other innovations that we've invested in, they're already in the market and they're scaling.
That's great. I know a lot of people think, well, it's going to cost money, it's going to cost jobs, but you make the point in the book, that's exactly the opposite of that, right? I mean, more jobs will be created short-term and long-term, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the scam that I talk about in the book. Is there's been this scam going on in the U.S. for the last 50 years where we've been told that focusing on living sustainable lifestyles, maybe it's good for the environment, but it's going to cost us jobs, it's going to cost the economy. The exact opposite is true. That's a scam that's been perpetrated by some industries that benefit from us sticking with this antiquated system. If we can shift towards a circular economy, towards a more sustainable lifestyle, we're absolutely going to reduce costs throughout the system, from the household to the municipality, and drive a lot of local job creation as well.
Good to hear that as well. The name of the book is The WasteFree World, How the Circular Economy Will Take Less, Make More, and Save the Planet. And we've been talking with Ron Gonen today. Ron, we're out of time, unfortunately, but you have a website you want to direct people to get more information on the book?
People can go to my firm's website, closedlooppartners.com, and learn about the book, or if they want to buy it directly, they can go to Amazon or barnesandnoble.com or any place where they buy books locally, and they'll see the WasteFree World there as well.
Great. We'll also put a link on our website as well. But Ron, good to talk with you. I will definitely check into your local business down here. Great to talk with you. Hopefully we can do it again. And thanks for being with us.
Glad to be with you today. Thank you.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.